You're listening to the Savoir Faire Audio Experience.
Are you ready?
The Savoir Faire Experience is your guide to everything that has to do with lifestyle. From dating, rides, style, and entertainment. All brought to you by the editor of Savoir Faire magazine, Robert White. Anything goes on this audio experience. So, let's go.
It's still the best.
All right, guys, welcome to another episode of the Savoir Faire Audio Experience. Thank you guys for sharing, caring. Appreciate all of the love. Today is another great interview. Today we're talking to someone who's dominating the very unique industry, and I'm super excited to talk with her. Nashay Naeve, how are you?
Doing well. How are you, Robert?
Excellent. Thanks for finding some time to connect with us. We're super excited to kind of chit chat with you. Obviously, you're doing some very unique stuff, and I'll let you kind of fill us in and give us your story. And I always like to kind of ask this kind of unique question that I'm sure people have heard before on other podcasts that I've done. But like, if I had your resume in front of me, can you tell me a little bit about what I would learn about you?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a few things in my resume that stand out. First, I have a background in engineering, so very technical, and my history is really working in the manufacturing industry. The second is I have a long list of global industrial multinationals that I've worked for as well. DuPont, Caterpillar, and most recently TN, Tsubaki Nakashima that you alluded to earlier. The last one, which is very unique to myself, is I'm actually fluent in Mandarin. So I studied and worked in China.
Wow, very cool. Yeah, I think from your bio that I read that you actually went to college there, correct?
Yeah, exactly. I did undergrad in Iowa. I actually grew up on the farm in Iowa, and I decided to do my master's degree in China they call it the MIT of China, Tsinghua University.
Okay, cool. So can you tell me a little bit about like why you did that? Like what was your big reason? I know some like when you're going through your high school, college years, a lot of people like to move away from like family, like just to be escape. And you went the other side of the country and learned in a completely different country, different language, everything. So what was the reasoning behind that?
Yeah, so I mean, I love to travel and I've always loved to travel. So that was, I would say, part of it. But the main driver at the time was there was a lot of manufacturing that had been moving to China. And I had always wanted to learn another language. And so during that time where a lot of manufacturing was moving to China, I felt like if I wanted to really target another language that would be helpful for my personal and career growth, Chinese would be the language that I should really target.
Yeah, it's super unique. I love that. It's not a very common thing, obviously, to have like that skill of learning Mandarin. So it's really unique that you have that, especially with your current role and the job you have right now. Obviously, you've traveled around the world and been to a lot of different continents and cultures, which is super cool. But what do you think your global experience, like how did it shape on who you are as a leader now?
What the global experience, in my opinion, it really helps me understand different cultures, and it really gives me a way to look at things from different angles. So like you mentioned earlier, I traveled, I worked abroad. I've actually been to all 7 continents. So I did make it to Antarctica
Nice.
Before the global pandemic, but it's enabled me to look at things from different angles. My time in China, I was able to really dive deep into the culture and understand some of the cultural nuances that exist. And even in my job now, where I'm leading a global team in Europe, the UK, and North America, I'm able to understand things that people might not just pick up on normally.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, we're obviously, you're really heavily focused in engineering and manufacturing. So with all of your kind of worldly travels and being in this industry for so long, what are you seeing? Like who's kind of leading the race? What's kind of happening in this world and what countries are kind of like really dominant right now?
So it depends a little bit on the industry, right? We see a lot of, and China is actually one that they're really taking a strong lead, especially in automotive within electric vehicles. But you also see a lot of strong industries in North America and in Europe as well. So it just, sometimes it's a little bit industry dependent, but I'm seeing a lot of, globalized competition happening.
Yeah, that's super cool. So your title right now is you're the president of the engineered plastic components business for Tsubaki Nakashima.
Nakashima, yep.
Thank you so much. I'm glad I said it wrong a dozen times. But either way, that's your role currently. So, like, tell me a little bit about your day to day as the president of this division. Like, what's kind of happening, and what kind of projects are you guys working on?
So some of the projects that we're working on, we actually work with some of the top tier medical device manufacturers, and we're building plastic components for them. So I can't explain the day to day because honestly, every day is very different. But we make plastic components for med tech. So a lot of the products that you might be using when you go to the hospital or even at home with point of care diagnostics, some of them might be manufactured by us. And some of the challenges that I work through as a global business leader are managing supply chains. I know in the early 2020s, this isn't a problem today, but in the early 2020s, there was a supply chain disruption right after COVID where supply chain stopped. We, for a time, couldn't get raw materials. If there was maintenance issues, production was completely stopped. And so I would host war rooms with my global team and plan, even when we were stopped, we were really planning the ramp up and how could we really accelerate getting products so that we wouldn't stop our customers' production as well. So there are a lot of interesting challenges that come with being in a role like mine.
Yeah, it's very interesting to see you kind of in this role too. I know that like engineering and manufacturing in general is kind of a really strong, like male dominant career choice. And so I know that's kind of a big thing and always has been a thing. So to have you in this very unique position where you're the president of an entire division for a really well-known company and obviously involved in this industry with many other companies through your career too, like what kind of things are you seeing that you had to like navigate or barriers that you had to kind of overcome being a woman in this industry? Can you kind of go into some detail for me?
Yeah, of course, the obvious one is that there aren't a lot of women. So in this industry, right, there are a few really high level leaders in the industry that I've kind of always looked up to, but there are a lot of female leaders that I've been able to really look up to and really follow that trajectory. So that was one of the challenges kind of initially, but I've been able to really identify mentors within the space and bounce ideas with them. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. You're all set. Keep going.
The other challenges are just getting the breadth of experience. So I've been lucky enough to be able to take a variety of roles from marketing, business development. I had a long stretch of product management, and of course my engineering background. So being able to have a broad enough experience set that really enables me to know enough to be able to lead the business.
Yeah, it's super unique. And I know it's kind of tough to kind of go into like this is a male dominant category and women being in there kind of, I mean, you're in there making moves for sure. You're definitely a force to be reckoned with in this industry. So, I mean, people really have to understand that you've really worked your way up into some really strong positions within the engineering and manufacturing industry in general. And so I know that came at some kind of cost, but I feel like there's probably a really strong motivation behind all of this for you too. And I don't know if that's just trying to be a woman breaking the glass ceiling, or if you're driven by money, or maybe it's the science of everything that you're doing. So what is the motivational piece that has you like really kind of going for the top of the food chain when it comes to this industry?
Yeah, and that's a really good point. When I look at a lot of my experiences, a lot of times I like to kind of go against grain and really work my way up or break the glass ceiling like you mentioned. And so I like to do things that people didn't think maybe were achievable. Like some examples in my history that aren't necessarily professional, but I mentioned earlier I've been to all 7 continents. So I decided my bucket list was to go to Antarctica, and that was something that not a lot of people do. And so that became something I really wanted to achieve. Another one is I got my pilot's license when I was in college because, again, there weren't a lot of people doing this. So that's something that really drives me is being able to achieve things that other people think might not be possible.
What's the driving force behind that for you, though? Like, what's the thing inside you do you think makes that like a very unique quality that you want to do things that other people just don't want to do, or they just haven't had the ability to do? Like, there must be a status thing that you're chasing here or something. I mean, there's just something more unique about it.
That's a good point. I'll have to dig a little bit deeper and do some more self-reflection on really what the driver is, but.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's a lot of people that are motivated by a lot of things. People love success. People want to just try new things. I think that's a big part of what you're doing. People are motivated by money, obviously. It's really kind of unique to hear so many like unique things because you've done so much. I mean, you obviously have dominated in engineering and manufacturing world as a woman, kind of changing a narrative and really kind of going after a strong role. And then you just mentioned that the Antarctica thing is something that most people don't even do. And you were there, and having a pilot's license, like that's pretty unique too as a young person, which probably leads to like maybe a little bit more of freedom, you know, like when you're 16, you get your first car, you're super excited about having that little freedom. And for you, it was like not wanting to be boxed in. So you got your pilot's license so you could fly anywhere on your own. I mean, that's kind of unique. I mean, that's a really cool, set of skills that you kind of put together for yourself. But I would love to learn more about like the driving force behind really wanting to challenge yourself on a, I mean, it sounds like a daily basis. You come up with something that, you know, you just don't let things slow you down.
Yeah, like one of the interesting frameworks, I don't know if you've heard of it, but there's different types of fun. So there's type 1 fun that's fun all the time. It's like if you go on a roller coaster, it's fun in the moment, and it's also fun reflecting on it. There's type 2 fun that is like climbing a mountain or going on a marathon. It's not very fun at the time, but when you look back, it's fun. And then there's type 3 fun that it's not fun at the time, and it's also not very fun in reflection. So I think I'm kind of a type 2 fun person. I really like the type 2 fun. Yeah. Hard in the moment, but it's fun when you get it to the top.
That's cool. I mean, you're going to have some very interesting stories to tell people because of the stuff that you've done in your life for sure, which is very unique. So there should be a book coming. I'm just saying, if you're not working on one already, you should be, because there's a really cool story here about just kind of perseverance and not slowing down. And thank you for sharing the little fun things too, because I didn't know about those things, but now I do. I think that's really kind of cool and unique. So yeah, it's really unique to kind of do this. But you're also doing your job kind of long distance, right? You're based in Atlanta, but when duty calls, you travel. Like you're more than willing to jump on a plane and take care of stuff.
Absolutely. Like I said earlier, I've always loved to travel, and that's kind of a perk of this job, I guess, is I get to go to Michigan, which is one of my manufacturing facilities. I have another plant in Italy, and I manage a site in the UK as well. So always on the road.
Who has the best food?
You know, that's a good one.
Yeah.
I love the food in Italy, though, I would say. So.
Okay. Like authentic Italian food is kind of your go-to?
Yeah, exactly.
Very
Pasta,
cool.
Pasta, pizza.
Yeah. Yep. But like straight from the motherland, not some stuff we do in America.
Exactly.
Very cool. Well, I'm glad we were able to connect and talk a little bit about you and your career, and obviously some of the cool little things we just learned about you too. I really appreciate you finding some time. I know your life is a big adventure that we're all jealous of, and I'm glad that you're kind of like out there spreading your wings as far as you possibly can. So I just wanted to thank you for your time again, and hopefully people will go check you out. I know that you have LinkedIn, so if people want to connect with you directly, they can go over there. Nashay, just your first name on LinkedIn, they can find you. And then if they really want to dive deep and learn a little bit more about what you're doing with the company you're working with now, they can go to tn/plastics.com, right? That's the division that you run?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, very cool. Again, so thank you so much, Nashay, for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to the show. Please take a minute to head over to www.savfair.com and subscribe to our publication.